it done. We've been discussing this for over a year, and we've taken public comment from it many times. We've looked into it, and so whether if we put it on for the next meeting or a meeting 2 months from now, still going to be people saying the same thing. Oh, why the rush? There isn't a rush. You either have to make a decision. You're going to do something, or you're not going to.
Well, my point was, I mean, there's obviously got to be a cutoff in the county of Kern when that occurs. Do you know when that is?
Steve, do you know when the cutoff is on that?
As far as getting it on the tax roll?
Yes.
I believe that we have to have everything in before July 1, but they don't make their final assessment until August or September.
And
Lizette would probably be able to tell you those timelines.
And if I'm not mistaken, is that when the longer we put this off and wait, then it's just that much longer before the county can actually, we're not going to see any revenue from the county probably until what, December.
But you won't be able to put June's tax. You can't put June's sewer bill on July's taxes.
When does it come off of the homeowner's property, or the water bill?
I don't know, when would the...
when does it come off?
They would get a final bill for the month of June,
okay.
and no bill for July on.
Okay.
We're not adding to a cost, we're just moving the cost. The ones that I understand, talking about postage rates and all this, what is his greatest concern? Did you ask that? What's his greatest concern?
Well, I appreciate the input there, Mr. Webb. The greatest concern is you can lose your house if it's on your tax bill. If you don't pay your sewer bill, you're not going to lose your house. I reckon that if you don't pay your sewer bill, you don't get, and you're also receiving water, you're not going to get water either. But at least you lose your house if you don't pay your water and your sewer bill, or if you're one of those few people that has sewer and no water, you're not going to lose your house because you're not paying your sewer bill. And that's...
Olaf, but what you also, the person that commented and they, that's probably a 5-year process?
It would take 5 years of non-payment of taxes, that's correct, and sometimes our senior citizens become a little more forgetful later on.
Something that I vote on, I want to be as equitable as possible. Are you caring about the seniors?
Yes,
Are you caring about the dollar amount?
primarily the seniors are the ones that are more forgetful, although us younger people tend to be forgetful as well, but not on those issues.
Okay, so you're basically making the community road responsible for everyone.
Pardon?
You're making the community erosion responsible for everyone that lives there.
Well, it always has been, and that...
Hold on. The question I have, you brought up the seniors.
Oh.
And you're making that child community erosion responsible for every person in those.
Well, that gets me to another point, the last point that I forgot to bring up.
Hold on. I know you want to dominate before. You just answer that one question before you move on.
Yeah, where's our reserves? We have reserves. We already do budget for this right now. Are you saying we never budgeted for having vacancies before?
Hold on. You still didn't answer my question. I understand that, but here's that. I understand some of the points you're trying to make, but ultimately, we're just talking about moving $40 from one pocket to that pocket. It still has to come out of the pocket of some point.
I think you're talking about less accountability on the board and from the board that's elected and making the tax collector your collector, and I think that's the primary philosophical problem with moving a bill to a tax bill. You're taking something that's liquid, if you will, and making it concrete.
Okay, Olaf, can you wrap up real quick?
Yeah, and just to wrap up, just one other, and I think that was a good point by Mr. Wood, allowing me to basically synthesize. You are basically taking something that's more fluid right now as far as that goes. People don't use the property as much, whatever. Yeah, you're not getting as much money as you might otherwise get if it's on a tax bill. But by putting on a tax bill, you're also taking away, you're making it more concrete. You're taking it, it's less fluid as well as far as your control goes, but it's also something that's sticks to the property and becomes more of a burden than it should be. And I think that's where I'm coming from on my argument. The other thing that he reminded me of, though, is that someone said, I think you said, we don't have any, we have no way to budget. We have to go take out loans. Last time I heard, you had over $1 million in reserves in the sewer account. Did something change here in the last few years?
We have reserves, Olaf, but what I meant by the comment I said was that if we're going to, we don't want to put ourselves in a position to where we have to go get loans. And as long as we keep losing revenue every year, that day may come. And as a board member, and as somebody that was elected by the people, I'm not being very honest to the majority of the constituents in this community by saying, okay, I know we're losing money over here and not doing anything about it.
Well, let's look at it further then. You say that you're going to save money for the community, roughly $150,000 a year. There's 6,000 customers. Is that right?
We're not saving money.
Hang on a second. Well, let's look at it. If it's there, if you're not going to save money, then why do it? I mean,
This isn't about saving money. See, you're trying to twist words around.
I'm not trying to twist words around. If you have a great argument, why don't you use it?
I am using the argument.
If $40 a year is...
We're trying to collect the revenue that we are counting on coming in every year.
If
And
$40...
right now, as long as the $40 is attached to the water bill, we do not have that revenue coming in. We are losing that money every year.
I think that's been well established.
Okay.
I think he just asked you to move on. He has
Can we
control of the
please
meeting.
move on so we can...
Oh, you want me off the podium?
Well, no, I want you to wrap this up so
Okay.
we can get to other people in the audience.
Okay. Wrapping it up, could you please look into what, if any, reduction there would be in the sewer rate based on your current operating budget for sewer if you had a higher collection rate? And that's what we're talking about. Is that what we're talking about, a higher collection rate? Do you have a way of quantifying that? I'd like to hear it.
No, we're not talking about hard.
Because you're talking about taking and putting $40 right now. If you vote today, starting July 1st, it's going to be $40 a month.
It's $39 and change.
Right, $39.
I said, at the beginning, I said, just to round it off to the nearest dollar, $40 a month. It's actually a little bit less.
And of course, the cynics amongst us say whenever Sacramento raises the tax temporarily, it stays there. Is there any possibility that...
This is not a tax, Olaf. This is your sewer bill.
It's the same thing. It's the same issue, though. Is the $39 change ever going to come down? Is there a possibility? That's the question.
No, that's what we've established that we need to run our sewer system now.
Based
But
on
what'll happen
based on the
is if
vacancy
we're
factor.
not losing revenue every year, then the chances of it going up are a lot less.
I understood. Thank you.
Okay, my name's Terry Landseidle. I'm here as a resident of Rosamond. And to me, it's kind of sad that you guys send out water bills every month, but you couldn't put this information on that you guys were going to vote on it. So transparency in our government is really not quite there because you guys could have notified the public pretty easy. I think if the public would have been notified, I think you'd maybe seen the same type of results you've seen when we dealt with the lighting district last time, where there was no room to sit in this place. So when you say the public's represented here, I would say just a really small part of the public's represented on that project. You talk about the income that you guys lost. Well, I think that's projected income. You guys project how much you're going to get for water, how much you're going to get for sewer. So that money, $138,000 last year, was projected income. But I know Pan owns the Devonshire Inn. He has 30 units, and I'm sure he projects the income on those units. But he doesn't project that he's going to receive all that money. So that's a projected income. You understand that a part of that income just doesn't come in. So your idea of putting it on the property taxes is going to help a lot. It's maybe not going to help as much as you thought. You talked, I didn't hear anything about a price increase or in this resolution. Are you going to be able to raise that sewer rate 1 or 2 or 3% every year as everything else escalates? or is it just fixed at that $40? Would you guys like to address that one item?
Steve, would you like to,
Excuse me, President, I would
Yes, I
recommend
think,
that we let them
hold on,
complete their
hold on.
statements before we, that way they get all 5 minutes.
Well, I was just wondering, because we haven't heard anything about that, and if you're given this proposal, how great it is for our community, that's kind of an important fact. I mean, if it's going to be $39.80, and then next year it's going to be $40.50, that is an important item. What I like to address is the retired people. I know, Glenn, you said you're retired, but if you're making $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 on retirement, it's not quite the same as somebody that's making $1,000. There's a lot of people in our community that retired here. They have to pay their taxes, their water bill. You talk about we're just switching it from the bill every month to their property taxes. But when you think about it, if I'm paying $60 a month and I'm retired, I have that budgeted every month to pay. Well, come July, all of a sudden my water bill goes down to $20, which is kind of nice. But you think I'm going to be wise enough or frugal enough to put that in the piggy bank, so when I get that additional $480 in taxes in December, that I'll be able to pay it. Well, if the people are on a fixed income, I think it's going to be a lot harder to save that $40. It's just going to get spent maybe on a few extra groceries or something else. So from the older people's standpoint of view, the people that are retired, this is a big thing for them. And you address the rental income or the rental people in Rosamond. The rents have went down. I have one client that has $1,000 a month payment. His place was sitting vacant for 4 months. Yes, he did not have the water on, but he had to pay $4,000 a month, or $4,000 for the 4 months for it to sit vacant. It would have been another $160 for each month on the sewer rate. So, you know, from one perspective, you're talking about projected income. Yes, that's projected, but you don't always collect all the money when you have projected income. That's the max. That's the max Pan could collect on his motel for 30 nights thing. But some nights he only has 1 or 2 rooms. So you maybe have to look at your budget a little bit more and maybe make some corrections along the way and make some adjustments down. So I really want to know, is there a built-in adjustment on that sewer rate that's going to go on our taxes? So is it going to go up like all the rest of our taxes? That's my question.
hey, Steve, you want to address that?
Yeah, I think I'd like to address the comments that Mr. Landseidle made in regard to that we anticipated the loss already. If he recalls, back in a meeting that he probably didn't attend in 2009, in the engineer's report, a rate was established based on the information that the engineer's report contained. When that rate was established, there was an anticipated level of recovery based on the number of connections at that time. Now that we have delinquencies, we have people that are not paying for vacancies, we're losing revenue. And that's what we're addressing right now. The revenues we lost are gone. We need to stop the loss by doing what is being proposed.
Steve talks about the delinquencies and the loss that you're having. One of the other things you got to take into consideration, your plant is not working the same rate as what it is when you have full occupancy. You know, everybody's coming in. So, yeah, your delinquency rate is causing you to lose money, but also at the same time, you don't have the cost that was there. That has to be factored in. And the people have spoken in this town once before and told you they don't want this rate on their tax bill.
Please identify the speaker.
Ed MacKay.
Ed MacKay.
Okay.
There must be a lot of delinquent houses in Rosamond I don't know about.
There's a lot of delinquent
Are they?
houses in Rosamond. When I've walked around to get the petition to get you guys off the board, you know, the county doesn't take into consideration all of the delinquents or all the empty houses that are in this town. And they got it way up here, and if they had done it right, you guys wouldn't be sitting up here right now. You'd be sitting on looking for a new election.
Do you have anything else to say?
No, thank you.
This community since 1980. And so you say that you're going to charge property owners $40, so that means even though Steve worked the things on the lighting, we got it on, it's going to be on the ballot. You have a ballot going out for the street light. At that time, I'm going to be paying approximately close to $600, and he got it down to $200 or something like that. And I appreciate that, Steve. But what happened is, with the sewer rates of $40, that means that I have 17 apartments. I'm going to be paying $40 more for each apartment, and that amounts to about $640. And you say, well, you can add it on to the rent. Right now, the amount of apartment money I'm getting for my apartments is at tops, because other people can rent them for cheaper than I can rent them, but I have to have that amount of money. If I add another $40 for the sewer bill onto my account to pay for that and go to taxes. And the second question is there anyone in Kern County that says that they are paying their sewer rates to the county? Anyone in Kern County?
I don't have that information.
I know
Okay,
Tehachapi
I'll
has.
tell you another thing. Where do you live?
I live here in Rosamond.
Well, where do you work?
I work in Palmdale.
And you just told me that Palmdale and LA County collect their sewer rates on the tax bill.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. But no one in Kern County does the same thing. Okay? So what happened is, we have different things and all the things we got going. But the most important thing, there's no one in Kern County that is having their tax bill, their sewer rates collected by the county. Only in LA County. So what happened is,
I don't know if that's a fact or not, but I will take your word for it at this time, because I don't have
and
any
so what happened is
information
that
otherwise.
the lighting bills, I appreciate that, but I can't add any of that to my rates that I'm charging right now. For my
Well, can I ask
two-bedroom
you-
apartments,
can I
I'm
ask you a
getting
question?
$690 a month. They can rent other apartments in Rosamond right now for a cheaper rate than that. A lot of houses, I walk around this community and do everything else. But I'm saying is, you did the right thing when you put it on the ballot to have the people vote. Then I would suggest you do the same thing that you did for the lighting district. I have a ballot at home, excuse me. And so what happened is, a ballot at home, I can vote. I suggest you do the same thing with the sewer rates. This is a democratic society. Let the people vote. Are you afraid to let them vote?
Bob, I'd like to ask you one question before you step down. How much are you paying a month right now for your sewer, for your apartments?
Right now, I haven't the slightest idea because I have Charlene Melcher doing all my books. And so I can ask her that.
But the money that you're paying right now per month for your sewer it's not gonna change. You're still gonna pay the same amount. It's just gonna come on your property tax bill,
No,
not on your monthly water.
My property tax right now, last year, was $8,940. I don't need any more bills on my property tax.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, my name is Patel, and I'm owner of Devonshire Motel. No, we are talking about you guys talking about the business decision, right? How many business does 100%? Mr. Wood, would you tell me?
I don't know. Don't have that.
Can you find out and do that? All the hotels going up, are they gonna be 100%? All the apartments at 100%? What makes you think you should get 100% revenue? I mean, it's part of the budget. You gotta cut the budget. You're talking about business decisions and 100% revenue income, right? That's what I've been hearing all that, am I right? I don't know. Show me one company that gets 100% revenue.
You get 100% from a person that comes into your motel if they pay you 80%.
40%.
No,
Right.
your fee for your motel room.
That's what I
Do you get
budgeted.
100% of it, or do they only pay 40% of what you're
My
charging?
40% occupancy, that's how budgeted my expense.
How much do you charge for a motel room?
$60.
Do they pay you $60?
Yes.
So you get 100% for what you're asking,
What
right?
he's saying is
Not 30, all 30 rooms, no, I do not.
No, if the 30 rooms
That's
were
what I like to
full,
get, sure.
if the 30 rooms, and you built that into your business plan, I would.
So why can't you, I mean, why do you wanna push this bill on tax bill and make a burden of these local people, like Mr. Olaf said? Senior citizen people, we have irresponsible people.
I can
And you make a
understand,
burden on the community.
I can understand
No,
it's
you're
a
not.
burden.
It is burden.
I can understand it's a burden on investors and property owners who haven't been paying it.
Investors wanna raise the rent.
I can understand that.
Once, I remember you say you live on $40,000 budget. I don't think so. I do not believe that. Once, am I right, in meeting few people were here, you say you live on $40,000 budget? No, people cannot live. They have to budget their stuff. And show me one company that makes 100%. Even Walmart, when they sell, they have certain loss, percentage of loss. That's a part of the business. And putting burden on the people, putting, like Bob said, he's paying $8,000 and putting $12,000 or $13,000 tax bill would be a burden for him. He didn't realize when he was on the board and what he was doing. When he sees the bill, he squawks.
If he's paying the sewer now, each month, it won't change. If the renter is paying the sewer bill, it will change.
Well, he has to jack up the rent and everybody else, and somebody
Just tell me, that's the way it's gonna work. So I can understand investors and property owners.
So we need to
being
budget and
concerned.
cut that cost somewhere. There's no 100%, that's what you're trying to do. If they're not, Mr. Olaf said, when the water's not being used, we don't have that much to maintain. Like my rooms are not filled up, I don't have to maintain them, I don't have to clean them. It just costs less automatic that much. And that's how hotels are, or apartments, or any other business. So I think this is wrong decision for community. And if you want to be fair, like Bob said, you did the lighting industry and send, how much did you spend in money last year on that? Why don't we just send a letter with the water bill and let them vote, and if people decide, I have no problem. Why are we hiding? I didn't get value press, somebody told me, and then I had to read what this board's gonna do. Why don't we do it on the bill? You send out bill every month, and let's put the vote. Would you like to have sewer bill on the tax roll or not? And just to be fair, I don't have a problem. If you get more people to vote for it, that's we should do. But I request that board should consider and send them mail with the next bill and put them, let them vote. If you think you want to play fair, that's fine. It's up for the public will speak out. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody else?
We can't hear.
Okay, can you speak louder, because we're not hearing you.
I was talking to the wrong end, I'm sorry. Right now, I don't have any other comments, but I appreciate the public input very much.
Okay, roll call vote,
Vice President Rick Webb,
Yes.
Director Kathleen Spoor,
No.
Director Byron Lennon,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallis,
No.
President Greg Webb.
yes. Resolution carries, 3 yeses and 2 nos. From Joseph Hamp, this is a temporary assignment until we can find a new accountant. Joe Hamp is retiring, and when is, Joe's already left, when is his last day? Tomorrow's his last day. So, right now, as of tomorrow, we will be without a treasurer, and we need to have somebody in that position to fill the gap.
I'll move.
Do I have a second? Okay, Vice President Webb seconds. Any discussion? Okay, Steve, go ahead.
Yes, what this entails is the CPAs will do all the paperwork, and I will review and approve. And this is, as you said, a temporary move until we get replacement.
Okay. And who are the CPAs, Steve?
Get the name from Lizette, I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. Can we
Can you give them the name of the?
stand up and identify yourself as the CPA that's going to be doing all of the financial work, and we'll be presenting it to Steve until we get a permanent treasurer named.
Certainly. As a representative of a California-based CPA firm, Babernick, Trine and Day, we will be replacing Joe in terms of his responsibilities as the district accountant on a contract basis.
Thank you. Okay, and we have a comment from Olaf for our accountant, who is retired as of tomorrow.
Who, and he was also your treasurer?
Yes. But he's in a, basically a contract employee, and so therefore Steve is going to be named as the treasurer, but he's not going to actually have any, he'll be handling all of the financial paperwork and then reporting to Steve the same as Joe Happ would have been doing.
I guess my main concern, if I can speak to both, the next item on the agenda as well. You're making Steve the general manager treasurer. I don't know if you ever want to put anybody in a position where they're in charge of the district, they're also in charge of the finances without any review. If you could look at maybe adding to resolution 2014-7 that you're
Steve,
going to.
would you like to address that?
Yes, that would be a concern if it was on a long term, but it's a short term until we get a replacement. We have to continue doing business.
Okay, understood. And then the other thing on 2014-7 doesn't say anything about how many signatures are required. This resolution authorizes the withdrawal of funds. It'd probably be best to make sure you have something that says
The form itself requires two.
the form of the withdrawal.
Right,
There's nothing in the resolution that says that.
right, so they won't let you do the transfer on the resolution, there's another form that goes with it, that requires two signatures.
I mean, there might be something in the resolution that says if we're gonna, the following district officers or their successors in office shall be authorized.
Olaf,
To order deposit.
We're discussing item C, we're not discussing item D yet.
Well, item B has the name /treasurer under Steve Perez, so that, I guess you kind of are. That's my concern. There should be that should be part of the resolution. So.
Well, there's always been two signatures, and if it's not in there, we can make it correct.
Yes.
Director Kathleen Spore,
Yes.
Director Martin Lennon,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallis,
Yes.
President Reyes.
Yes. And item D, discussion and possible action to adopt resolution 2014-7, amending the authorization of investment of monies in the local agency investment fund. And do you have any further comments on that, Olaf?
So just if you could add, like I said, where it said be it further resolved, 2 signatures are required as per the form.
Okay. And Can I get a motion to, approve?
Hey, Mr. President,
Yes,
Director Webb here. Just, if you could just share with Olaf, that I can vouch for the fact that the checks that go out require multiple signatures, as the fact that I've been called to the district's office to sign checks to ensure that everything's in compliance, and we do have policies that cover all this, as far as the checks are going out, and who's putting signatures on it.
I think that's
The
already.
investments
Already
here
settled that.
that we're talking about now, nothing could happen without board approval and the president or another director's signature on it. So the safeguards are in place. I appreciate Olaf's concern about the safeguards are in place and all these issues, all the matters that we're doing now, and to have things addressed until we have a new CPA in place at the district office.
and I concur with Director Webb that it has always been our policy, and it is our policy that every check takes 2 signatures.
This is coming from a special fund though, is that right?
The LAIF fund.
Which would be a rather large check.
Mr. President,
Yes,
again, in this transition period, if there's a concern, I sit as the chair of the finance committee, and I'm available to address anything as far as an emergency from a signature standpoint. But I think the fact that our GM is available daily, when these matters come up, that's why we're trying to have it done in such a manner that when the matters come up, they can be addressed so we don't hold anything up.
okay, 15-7.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion is made by Director Glenn, second by Director Wallis. This is a roll call vote.
Vice President, Rickwa,
Yes?
Director Kathleen Sport, Director Brian Glennon,
Yes.
Director Alfred Wallace,
Yes.
President Craig.
Yes.